She was found shivering in a storm drain, starving, scarred, and barely alive. But when the shelter scanned her tattoo, they realized this wasn't just another abandoned dog. This is Goldie, and her journey from a hellish puppy mill to the White House will leave you speechless. Her story changed laws, reunited families, and proved that even the most broken souls can heal if someone fights for them. The crisp October air carried the scent of burning leaves as Anna checked her watch for the third time. 8:09 p.m. Harper, her beloved golden retriever, was never this late from her evening walk. Just as Anna reached for her phone to call animal control, the familiar sound of paws on gravel reached her ears. But something was different tonight. The rhythm was off. Instead of Harper's usual joyful trot, there was hesitation in the footsteps approaching the porch. When the motion sensor light flickered on, Anna's breath caught in her throat. Harper stood at the base of the steps, her normally gleaming coat matted with dirt and leaves. But it was the small shadow hovering behind her that made Anna's hands fly to her mouth. A second golden retriever, maybe half Harper's size, stood trembling in the periphery of the light. The resemblance was uncanny, the same rich golden fur, though dull and matted on the newcomer. The distinctive white diamond-shaped patch on the chest. Even the way both dogs held their right ears slightly higher than the left. Anna slowly lowered herself to her knees, her yoga pants soaking up the dampness from the porch steps. "Hey there, sweetheart," she whispered, extending her hand palm up in the universal dog language of peace. Harper bounded up the steps, but the stranger stayed frozen, her entire body vibrating with tension. Then something remarkable happened. Harper turned and gently nudged the smaller dog forward with her nose before lying flat on her belly in the classic canine "I mean no harm" posture. For 3 full minutes, the standoff continued. Anna remained perfectly still, her outstretched hand growing stiff in the autumn chill. Then, with agonizing slowness, the stray took one tentative step forward, then another. Anna could now see the scars crisscrossing her muzzle, the way her ribs protruded through her dull coat. When that cold, wet nose finally touched her fingertips, followed by the barest flick of a tongue, tears welled in Anna's eyes. The moment was shattered by a sudden gust of wind that sent a flurry of dried leaves skittering across the porch. The stray recoiled violently, scrambling backward with a yelp. But Harper was faster. She positioned herself between the frightened dog and the perceived threat, emitting a low, reassuring rumble from her chest. Anna watched in awe as Harper guided the trembling creature up the steps and straight through the front door, as if she'd lived there her whole life. Inside, under the bright kitchen lights, the similarities were even more striking. Both dogs had identical amber eyes with the same flecks of gold, the same unusual white socks on their back paws, matching kinks in their tails about 2 inches from the tip. Anna's hands shook as she filled 2 bowls with kibble. The stray, who she had already mentally named Goldie, approached the food with a mix of desperate hunger and deep suspicion. She ate in quick, furtive bites, constantly looking up to check for threats. Harper, meanwhile, deliberately turned her back as if to say, "See, you're safe here." That night, as Anna lay awake listening to the unfamiliar sound of 2 dogs breathing in harmony, she knew this was no ordinary stray. The way Harper had immediately taken responsibility for Goldie, the way they moved in eerie synchronization, this felt like something far more significant than chance. Little did she know, the mystery was about to deepen in ways she couldn't possibly imagine. The sterile scent of antiseptic filled Anna's nose as she sat in the veterinary clinic waiting room, her knees bouncing nervously. Goldie lay curled in her carrier, her wary eyes tracking every movement in the busy clinic. Harper sat sentinel beside them, her tail thumping rhythmically against the plastic chairs. When Dr. Martinez finally called them back, Anna's stomach clenched at the sight of the DNA test kit on the counter. "We'll need cheek swabs from both dogs," Dr. Martinez explained, her kind eyes softening as Goldie shrank away from the unfamiliar object. "The results should be back in 72 hours, but..." She paused, running her fingers through Goldie's matted fur. "I have to say, the physical similarities are remarkable. Same coat texture, identical dentition patterns, even their heart rates are syncing up." The next 3 days passed in a blur of anxious waiting. Anna found herself compulsively comparing the dogs' behaviors. Both scratched at their water bowls before drinking. They shared the same peculiar habit of circling exactly 3 times before lying down. Even their play styles mirrored each other, the same pounce and retreat technique. When the call finally came, Anna nearly dropped her phone. Dr. Martinez's usually calm voice crackled with excitement. "Anna, you need to come in. The results, you're not going to believe this." The clinic smelled of lemon cleaner and nervous anticipation as Dr. Martinez handed over the report. Anna's eyes immediately went to the highlighted conclusion. Subjects share 57.3% genetic markers, consistent with full siblings from the same litter. Note, both carry the rare golden duo gene variant, 0.001% prevalence. The room seemed to tilt. "But Harper's from the county shelter," Anna stammered. "They said she was surrendered as a puppy." Dr. Martinez pulled up the shelter records on her computer. According to intake notes, Harper was part of a group of 7 puppies confiscated from an illegal breeding operation. The others were adopted out quickly, but she frowned at the screen. There's no mention of what happened to the rest of the litter. A cold realization settled in Anna's chest. Goldie hadn't just been lost, she'd been left behind. The scars, the skittishness, the way she devoured food like each meal might be her last. These weren't just the marks of a stray, but of a survivor. That night, as Anna pored over the DNA report's fine print, she made a discovery that would change everything. The test had identified something called an EB haplotype, a genetic signature common to dogs from specific breeding lines. A quick internet search led her to a shocking revelation. EB stood for Everbright Kennels, a notorious puppy mill shut down 3 years prior for horrific animal welfare violations. The pieces were falling into place with terrifying clarity. Harper and Goldie weren't just sisters. They were survivors of one of the worst breeding operations in state history. And if Goldie had somehow escaped or been discarded, what did that mean for the rest of their siblings? The abandoned Everbright property loomed before them like something from a nightmare. Rusted chain-link fences sagged under the weight of invasive vines, while the skeletal remains of kennel buildings stood silent sentinel. Anna's breath came in shallow gasps as she picked her way through the debris, Goldie and Harper close at her heels. The smell hit first, a nauseating cocktail of mildew, ammonia, and something far worse. Even after 3 years of abandonment, the stench of suffering clung to the place. Anna's flashlight beam revealed rows of cramped cages with floors made of wire grating, faded bloodstains on the concrete wash area, a mountain of broken dog toys, all bearing identical chew marks. Goldie's reaction was immediate and heartbreaking. She dropped to her belly, crawling forward with her tail tucked so tightly it nearly disappeared between her legs. Harper, normally fearless, pressed close to Anna's side, her entire body trembling. Then Anna spotted it, a crumbling ledger book partially buried under collapsed roofing. The waterlogged pages tore as she carefully pried them apart, but one entry remained legible. EB14 litter, 8 whelped, 5 females, 3 males, 3 sold, Pet City, 2 culled, defects, 3. The rest was obscured by what Anna hoped was water damage. Dr. Singh, the veterinary forensic specialist Anna had contacted, examined Goldie under the bright lights of his mobile clinic. His findings painted a horrifying picture. Paw pad scars from living on wire mesh, worn canine teeth from bar biting, stretched mammary tissue indicating multiple pregnancies, a crude EB14 tattoo inside her thigh. The tattoo suggests she was part of their breeding stock, Dr. Singh explained grimly. They typically retire females after 4 to 5 litters. The fact that she's alive at all is... His voice trailed off as Goldie flinched from his touch. Back home, Anna watched the sisters sleep curled together like puzzle pieces. The way Goldie instinctively nuzzled Harper's ear, the synchronized rise and fall of their chests. These weren't just random dogs. They were family, torn apart by human greed and miraculously reunited. But even as she marveled at their bond, one question haunted her. If Goldie had been used for breeding, where were her puppies? The email from Thailand arrived at 3:17 a.m., its subject line screaming urgency. Urgent, EB tattooed Goldens in Chiang Mai. Anna's coffee went cold as she opened the attachment. A photo of a gaunt golden retriever with familiar amber eyes and the unmistakable EB14D tattoo inside her thigh. Within hours, Anna had assembled an international team. Lieutenant Delgado, an Interpol officer specializing in animal trafficking. Dr. Naren, a Thai veterinarian turned activist. Elena, a canine behaviorist with expertise in trauma recovery. The Chiang Mai shelter footage revealed horrors that mirrored Goldie's condition. 23 golden retrievers with EB series tattoos, identical scarring patterns on paws and muzzles. The same hollow-eyed stare Anna had seen in Goldie's first days, when the video call connected Goldie to Nong Chaba, as the Thai rescuers had named her. The reaction was instantaneous. Both dogs froze, then erupted into identical vocalizations, a mix of whines, yips, and excited spins that Dr. Naren called recognition duets. The shelter staff burst into tears as Nong Chaba, who had refused all human contact for months, pressed her nose to the screen where Goldie's image appeared. Back home, Anna pored over shipping manifests obtained through Lieutenant Delgado's contacts. The paper trail revealed Everbright had exported breeding stock to 14 countries. Dogs were classified as agricultural products to avoid scrutiny. At least 300 EB-coded dogs remained unaccounted for worldwide. The breakthrough came when an anonymous whistleblower provided bank records showing Everbright's owner had purchased a luxury villa in Dubai just months before the raid. Satellite images revealed kennel runs behind the property and a telltale flash of golden fur in one of the enclosures. The marble halls of the state capitol echoed with the click of Harper's nails as Anna approached the hearing room. Goldie walked calmly at her side, her service dog vest a tangible symbol of how far she'd come. The air smelled of polished wood and nervous sweat as they took their seats before the Senate Animal Welfare Committee. Senator Riggs, a known opponent of animal rights legislation, smirked as Anna began her testimony. But his expression changed when she played the split-screen video. Left side, Goldie on day 1, trembling so violently she chipped a tooth. Right side, current Goldie demonstrating how she alerts to Sonny's nightmares. The room fell silent as the footage showed Goldie gently tucking in her adopted daughter with her nose, a behavior she'd developed entirely on her own. Even hardened politicians wiped their eyes when the video revealed Sonny's night terrors had decreased by 92% since her rescue. Then came the moment that would be replayed on every news network. As Senator Riggs began his usual objections, Harper, who had been lying quietly at Anna's feet, stood and deliberately placed her head on his knee. The room held its breath as the gruff senator's hand moved almost involuntarily to stroke her ears. When he looked up, his eyes were suspiciously bright. "Well," he grumbled, "I suppose we could reconsider the amendment." The final vote was 89-11 in favor of Goldie's law, which mandated mandatory tattoo registries for all commercial breeders, annual unannounced kennel inspections, lifetime bans for violators. As reporters swarmed after the hearing, Anna noticed Goldie sitting calmly beside Senator Riggs, her intelligent eyes seeming to understand the magnitude of what they'd accomplished together. The photograph of that moment, the grizzled politician and the once broken dog, would grace front pages across the country the next morning. The courtroom smelled of lemon polish and nervous anticipation as Anna took her seat. Goldie sat regally at her feet, her service dog vest replaced with a simple blue bandana, the canine equivalent of Sunday best. Across the aisle, the former ever-bright owner glared with undisguised hatred, his expensive suit failing to mask the cruelty in his eyes. When the prosecutor called Goldie to the stand, a murmur rippled through the gallery. The judge raised an eyebrow, but allowed it. This was, after all, the victim's testimony. Anna held her breath as Goldie approached the witness box, her gait steady despite the audible gasp from the jury. What happened next wasn't in any law school textbook. Goldie didn't growl or bare her teeth. Instead, she carried something in her mouth, the same slobbery tennis ball she'd played with that very first night. With deliberate calm, she placed it at the breeder's feet, then sat back expectantly. The silence was deafening. The breeder stared at the ball as if it were a live grenade, his hands twitching in his lap. When the prosecutor gently asked, "Do you recognize this dog?" his gruff no was met with derisive snorts from the gallery. Then Sonny, watching from Anna's lap, let out a single sharp bark, the same alert she used for nightmares. The timing was so perfect, even the judge smiled. When the breeder snarled, "Control your mutts," Goldie did something extraordinary. She turned her back on him completely, returning to Anna's side with her head held high. The jury deliberated for just 47 minutes. The sentence, 3 years imprisonment plus lifetime animal industry ban, sent shockwaves through the breeding community. But the real victory came outside the courthouse, where dozens of reporters captured Goldie surrounded by 14 other EB survivors recently rescued. The Thai team holding Nong Chaba's photo, legislators waving copies of Goldie's law. As the cameras flashed, Anna realized this was no longer just about two sisters reunited. It had become something far greater, a movement that would outlive them all. The morning sun painted golden stripes across the sanctuary's dew-kissed grass as Anna surveyed her unlikely family. 5 years had transformed the once traumatized dogs beyond recognition. Goldie lay sprawled in her favorite sunspot, her chest rising and falling peacefully. Harper played gentle referee between Bear and a new rescue pup. Sunny demonstrated her famous tuck-in technique to visiting school children. Nong Chaba, now a permanent resident after Thailand's royal intervention, lounged regally by the pond. The sanctuary's wall of change told their story in pictures. Goldie's first terrified day contrasted with her current therapy work. The signed copy of Goldie's law displayed beside the governor's pen. Letters from all 50 states thanking them for inspiring local reforms. But the most powerful transformation wasn't on the walls. It was in the quiet moments. How Goldie still checked every crate she passed, ensuring no dog was left behind. The way Harper herded newcomers to the safest spots during thunderstorms. Sunny's uncanny ability to find the most frightened rescue in any group. As Anna prepared for the day's visitors, she paused to watch the dog's morning ritual. Like clockwork, they formed what the volunteers called the gratitude circle, nuzzling each other in a specific order before settling into contented silence. The veterinary behaviorists couldn't explain it, but Anna knew. This was their way of saying, "We're all here. We're all safe." The sanctuary's guest book overflowed with messages from around the world. Because of you, I adopted a mill survivor too. Your story made me report my neighbor's backyard breeding. I'm going to vet school to continue your work. As the afternoon tour group arrived, Anna smiled at the now familiar routine. Goldie would greet each visitor with a gentle nose touch. Harper would demonstrate her famous happy dance, and Sunny would inevitably steal someone's hat. But today held one special surprise: the unveiling of the new memorial garden, where 217 stones bore the names of EB dogs who hadn't survived. When Goldie patted over to lick Anna's hand, her eyes held a wisdom that hadn't been there 5 years ago. They traveled a road no creature should ever walk, but somehow arrived at a place more beautiful than either could have imagined. The camera crew capturing their story for the documentary moved in closer as Anna whispered the words that would become the film's final line. Every dog deserves a love story like this, and with your help, maybe someday they'll all get one.